Hey everybody, it's Judy Clock, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Middletown, Virginia, coming to you tonight with another tutorial. Now last week, I usually do it, the second week of the month, I usually do a Fun Folds project, but I had just gotten my hot foil system and I was so excited. So last week I showed you how to use the new hot foil system. So today I'm going to show you a Fun Fold. We're going to do the Stadium Wave card. I've wanted to make one for a while now and I was intimidated because I thought it was really difficult. Turns out it's really simple and I really think you're going to like it. So let's go ahead and switch our camera and we'll go ahead and get started. Now for this we are going to foil. So I have our machine. I have the hot foil platform over here. It's warming up. You can see it's got the red light on. But this is the card we're going to create. It's called the Wave card, the Stadium Wave. It's got a lot of different names, but this is using the new Simple Leaves bundle. It's a stamp set with a matching punch, and we're going to use it to make some cascading fall leaves. And we're going to foil these beautiful Swiss dots on the front, and then we're going to use that negative foil to make a really pretty leaf. So let's go ahead and we can get started. I have here a piece of our Cajun Craze, and you're going to want to score it like one tick on either side of center. And that's because we want to create sort of that little 1/4 of an inch indentation or a 1/4 of an inch like binding to make room for the wave mechanism, because that is going to add some weight to our card. And then to make the mechanism itself, I have a piece of our two-tone cardstock. I've opted to use the dark side up. So I'm going to fold it on all the score lines, and you will find all of these measurements on the inspiration sheet, which is inside my Crafty Clock inspiration vault. And you can sign up for that. It's a monthly subscription, and you can get all of the inspiration sheets going back to the beginning of this year and all the ones going forward as long as you remain a member. Now, because this is two-tone cardstock, I'm really not going to burnish it with my bone folder. I kind of ripped an earlier version because it's a little bit lighter weight than our standard cardstock. So that's why I'm just kind of like finger burnishing it. So I've got here a piece. I'm going to add some tear and tape, and I'm going to fold this over. Now, you want to make sure that you keep the ends pretty even. And then we're going to cut this into 1-inch strips. So I am using 5 of like the mechanism. I want 5 leaves to pop up. Oh, our foil is ready. Let's put that aside for a minute. So I'm going to add our Swiss Dots foil plate. Oh, I left it all the way over here. I had actually already taped this, and it turns out that it only recorded half of it, so I had to redo it. Okay, and now while that heats up, I'm going to press this white button. Now the yellow light will start to blink. I'm going to cut a piece of our gold foil. I'm going to cut it about 5 inches. It's 5 inches wide. I'm going to cut it to be about 5 inches long, so just about a square. Okay. So while our die heats up, we've got our piece of foil cut. Put the roll back in. They are 5. They come 2 rolls to a box, and there's about 5 yards on each roll. So, yeah, 5 yards. So that's about 15 feet. So you get about 30 feet of foil in every box. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my foil there and kind of let that warm up with our plate. And then we're going to add our cardstock, and we're going to add our shim and our spacer. Oh no, where'd my spacer go? Oh, it's right here. Buried underneath all of my stuff. Okay, hopefully we're still recording. Okay, we're still good. So now you'll notice on my shim, some of the, oh, it's ready. So let's go ahead. I got some gold foil on there. That's fine. It doesn't hurt the shim at all. Let's go ahead and add our cardstock. Let's add our shim and our spacer. Okay, I'm going to unplug this. Just a little magnetic plug, so it goes in and out pretty easily. I'm going to move this off to the side for just a minute. Move some of this stuff off. And I'm going to bring up our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Now remember, when we're putting through our hot foil plate, or our hot foil platform, we want to roll it through slowly. And the reason being is we want to give that plate as much time to be under the rollers as possible to make sure that we get that really nice adhesion of the foil to the cardstock. So I'm turning this much more slowly than I would if I was doing a die or an embossing folder. So I'm just going ahead and just let it go slowly, slowly. You do need the Stampin' Cut and Emboss to use the hot foil system. So one, the old Big Shots are too narrow, and two, you'll void your warranty if you don't use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, because Stampin' Up! Has really only tested it on that machine. So therefore, you want to make sure that you don't void your warranty. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, hold on to this negative piece, because we are going to use this in our project later. So I'm going to put that off to the side. How pretty is that? Isn't that pretty with those gold dots on there? I love it. All right, let's go back to working on our card. So we just finished folding our mechanism, and I am going to cut this into 5 1-inch wide strips. So I know it's 2 layers of cardstock, but it's our 2-tone cardstock, so it's a little bit lighter than our regular cardstock. I'm just going to go ahead and make all of these strips. These will become what I call the wave mechanism. The mechanism that's going to allow those leaves to sort of cascade up and down. Okay, and one last one. This one's always the hardest because it's only 1 inch wide. And I want to make sure I get it straight. Okay. Okay. All right, so now I have my 5 little wave mechanisms. Now, I want to make sure that, one, I push these to the inside. So we're going to have like a, kind of looks like the old Star Trek symbol a little bit, for those of you old enough to remember. But we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to push that to the inside. Okay, now, this, I'm going to take one, and I'm going to make sure that that seam where I adhered those edges together is in the back. And I'm going to add a little washi tape just to the inside like that, because I want to hold this down. I found that I get the mechanism to work better when I sort of keep that first one stable. So I want to use the lines on my grid paper to line it up to make sure that it's even top and bottom and right and left. Okay. Because what we want to do is we want to glue the next one on at a 1/2 inch. So right now that dotted line is the 1/2 inch mark. So I'm going to add some multi-purpose liquid glue right there, not too much. And I'm going to put the second one on top, making sure the top and bottom are even, and they're sort of even. This edge, this right edge, is even with that 1/2 inch line. Okay, we're going to repeat it with the next one. Make sure the seam is in the back. We're going to add some glue here. Okay, and again, now the solid line is that 1/2 inch mark. So again, going to make sure that right edge is even with that 1/2 inch mark. And we're going to continue that for the remaining 2 pieces. Okay. Okay, got that. Okay. All right, and our last one. Same thing, but you see how it helps to have that first piece anchored down to the paper so I'm not slipping all over the place. I just found after making a few of these that it helps to sort of anchor this mechanism to your workstation, and then you can just lift it off and nobody will be any the wiser. Okay, so we're going to just lift that off. I can take this out now, and it doesn't, washi tape doesn't damage your paper. And even if it does, it's on the inside. So now we've got that wave mechanism sort of ready to go. So let's finish up working with our card. I've got our card base here. I think this is like the wonderful wood grain paper, and I'm going to use the lighter side on the inside, and I'm going to stamp a little sentiment right on the top in our Cajun Craze. And the reason why I chose the lighter side, one, I like the way it looks, but two, I don't actually have to put a piece of basic white on the inside now, because this paper is actually light enough to write on. So close that up for a minute. You know me, I make a big mess. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add our paper to the inside. I'm going to actually use some more liquid glue on here. All right, so this piece where I stamped, we're going to put on the top. Okay, this piece is going to go right on the top. And I love our liquid glue. It gives me that little bit of extra time to just kind of make sure everything's in place. Okay. Then our next piece is going to go on the bottom. Okay. All right. Again, liquid glue is your friend. Okay. All right. Now we've got our mechanism, right? I'm going to add glue to the bottom layer here, this bottom layer. And I'm going to make sure that I kind of have it centered in my card and that top edge even with the top of my designer series paper. Okay, then I want to add some liquid glue here to the top of this last one, and I'm going to close my card and make sure that it's even, and I'm going to adhere that mechanism to the front, to the top part of my card. Okay, close this again, make sure, push that down. While that's adhering, we're going to go ahead and put our beautiful gold Swiss dots on the top, and then we're ready to make some leaves. Okay. All right, we've got some really pretty leaves here. Okay, we're going to, but before we do that, I want to do one thing because we're going to let this kind of sit for a minute. I have here a piece of our basic white, and I have our negative, our gold negative. So I want to take that out. I want to make sure my fingers are clean. Okay. I'm going to use the bottom of my glue, and I'm going to add some liquid glue here to the bottom, and I'm going to spread it out. Use the bottom of your glue to spread it out. And you'll notice I put a silicone sheet down because I don't want it to get all over my paper. So I'm just going to spread this glue out. Okay, kind of keep it off my foil. I don't want it to be too gloppy, so I'm going to try to spread it out as best I can and make sure it's a thin layer. If you have a like a little paintbrush, you can certainly go ahead and use the paintbrush. But at this point, I'm not even pressing on the glue anymore. I'm just using that bottom tip to spread it out. Now I'm going to clean that off and close it up. All right. Now we're going to take this, we're going to lay this over our basic white. Come on. Okay. All right, let me clean off my brayer. I want to make sure I don't have anything on my brayer. And I just kind of want to, oh, no, it's got stuff on there. Well, I'm just going to hopefully gently stick this down. Okay, I didn't do such a great job this time, but it'll be enough for what we're going to need it for. I'm going to put that off to the side so it can sort of dry. I'm going to take this off and remove this and get the glue off my fingers and hands. All right, let's go ahead and stamp some leaves and punch out some leaves. So I've got here some Timid Tiger. I've got some Timid Tiger ink. I'm going to stamp this one. I'm going to stamp this twice, I hope. I hope I can get 2 out of here. Okay, we got 1. Let's see if we can get another one. Oh, I think we can. Okay. Let's go ahead and punch that one out. Got 2. We're going to need a total of 8 leaves altogether. We've got 2 here. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and close that up. Let's bring in our Cajun craze, and we have some yellow, some Cajun craze, and we got a piece of pecan pie. Now for these, we're going to use this one. It looks like dotted vines. We're going to go ahead and do 1. I'm going to do 2. Don't put them too close to the edge because you want to make sure you have room for the stem. I learned that lesson because I kind of pushed them a little too close. Okay. All right, we got that. Okay. More. Okay. Close that up, and now we're going to do our cherry cobbler. Cherry cobbler. And I've got this crazy looking one here. Move all of these out of the way. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stamp that, punch out that one. Now I've got our sheet here. I'm gonna punch out 1, and I'm gonna punch out 2. Okay, so now we've used our negative foil too. Nope, this one didn't punch out too great. Let me see if I can trim off that little bit. Hang on. I don't know where all my scissors have gone to. Okay, there we go. Now we are ready to put, let's do one thing while we have do one more piece of stamping. I want to stamp a little sentiment for the front. Maybe, if I can get this off. Okay. This is just a little something to say hello. And this die cut is from the Scalloped Blooms die set. I love that set. It's such a pretty set. All right, let's go ahead and make our card cascade. Okay, so on the inside, I want to put our leaves, and I want them to look like they're falling down. So I'm going to sort of start maybe with my leaf going that way, and we're going to alternate how we put them. So in one, it's the stem will go to the left and to the right and to the left and to the right. Now to do this, I'm going to use some glue dots. Okay. And I want to make sure that when I put this on, I don't extend past that score line. See that score line there? Because when my card closes, it's going to get caught up in that. So I'm going to just make sure that when I put my leaf on there, it will close up without getting caught. Okay, add our next one. Okay, oops. Actually have to get the glue dot on the, okay, there we go. Okay, we're gonna have our next one is gonna be one of our gold ones. Oh, come on. There we go. And then we've got a yellow one. Okay. So I kind of wanted to make it look like the leaves were falling. So that's kind of why I have them in the orientation that I do, because I wanted to make sure it could look like they were falling down off the tree. And our last one. Okay, so that is the inside of our card. Pretty, right? Okay, now for the outside, I'm just going to take these three and I'm going to arrange them in such a way that I kind of like how they look. It doesn't really matter how you do them, it's just how you like them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add just a little bit of Stampin' Seal so I can sort of get them how I want them. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to add Stampin' Seal to the backs of all of them. Okay, and we're going to stick them on the front of our card. Okay, we're going to use some dimensionals for our sentiment, which I just had to open a new pack of dimensionals. I used up all of my dimensionals, which is not unusual. I love doing dimensionals. I put them on everything. All right, so we've got a new pack. I'm going to go ahead later. I'll put like a line through these, like a draw, like with a pen, so you can tell if the backings are still on them. It makes it so much easier to see if the backings are on. Okay. But since I just opened them right now, we're not going to take the time to do it right this minute. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add that. We're going to finish it off with a little linen thread on our leaves. This is always the hardest part, is tying this in a bow. Especially when you're trying to do it live. It just never works out. But we did okay. Look at that. Got it on the first try. All right. I'm going to trim that up just a bit. The tails are a little bit longer than I would like. I keep losing I put my scissor down and I keep losing them. All right, and we're going to use a glue dot, one more glue dot. Got this big old long tail of glue dots here. You can tell I've been using a lot of glue dots lately. All right, and we're going to go ahead and just put that right there. And that is our autumn falling leaves card with the wave. So much easier than I thought. I did another one here. This one has a belly band on it. Hello, sunshine. And this one is all about summer fun. Look at all that. This is the Splash and Relax stamp set with all those fun little die cuts, flip-flops, sunglasses, suntan lotion, beach balls. And then the last one is for the holidays. And we're going to be making this in my Christmas in July event. But this one has all the ornaments on it. Now this one, well, I did add the white because the inside was a little bit busier than I did on the fall one, right? That's light enough that we can write it and need to add that white, but I did on the Christmas one and also on the birthday one. Although you could actually write on this, I just thought it might be a little too busy. So those are my 3 wave cards. I don't even know if I can get a better shot of all of them, but those are the 3 wave cards. So again, the instructions with the measurements and everything will be in my inspiration library. I'll leave the link down below. I've also got a shopping special going this month where if you shop with me and spend $100 or more, I will enter you into a drawing to win a $100 shopping spree. July is my anniversary month. I've been a demonstrator for 9 years, and I am just about 6,000 points away from earning the next incentive trip. So I'd love it if you need things, if you would help me out and shop with me. That's it, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.